Hey y'all, it's Jordan from Jordan Budgets. Today is going to be a little bit different. I may even try to do this video unedited. It has been such a hot week mess. We are going to do some cash stuffing. This is going to be a lot of ranting. We're also going to talk a little bit about homeschool because I have some organization and just some things to get off my chest today. So let's get into it. I am going to start by just kind of, let's see, where do we even start? This is my weekly money category, like my binder for my weekly money, my wallet. Oh my god, y'all, see what I'm saying? I don't even know how to start this video because it's just been a whirlwind over here. So I haven't been cash stuffing this week for our variable spending, like our weekly money. I intended on doing that and I had the money, some expenses came up. I do think I'm gonna go ahead though and just stuff $20 more into gas, because I will need $60 for gas next week, so I don't want to get too thrown off on that. As far as our spending for our groceries and some of our other variable spending though, we're leaving this alone. I'm just paying on the card what I need to do this week. And let's jump into some chatting while we do cash stuff this little bit of money that we do have. Actually, take that back. Before we even cash stuff, let's see what we have left in this stack. I had fully planned on doing a regular cash stuffing this week, but we're going to talk in just a second about all of the stuff going on. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 200, 205, 10, 15, no, what? 200, 203, 200 and some odd dollars, guys. That's what we're cash stuffing. Okay, definitely not a normal video. If you're looking for a normal cash stuffing from me, this is not it. Please tune in for some of my other ones. But let me fill you guys in on some things going on this week. First off, nothing crazy, okay? It has been an overall, like, okay, take all of my complaints with a grain of salt, knowing that I recognize that these are not serious issues. If we wanted to get into some serious issues, I mean, I've had those, you know, so I know in the scope of things, sorry if I'm bumping the camera. In the scope of things, none of this is that bad, but have you guys ever had a week where it's like one thing after another and you're like, maybe I just need to nap. I just need to nap the rest of the week. And you know, we'll reboot, we'll restart for next week. So it's been one of those weeks. It started out with first a manufacturer for an item. It got lost in the mail and they wanted to send me another one. Well, they sent me a half shipment of what I was supposed to get and they're claiming it was a full shipment, but then the girl quit. So like, it's a whole hot mess, right? So that happened. I was like, okay, weird way to start the week, but all right. And then the very next day at midnight, again, not serious problems, but this is just, you know, why I've kind of been missing in a whirlwind of an explanation, okay? The very next night at midnight, the homeschool co-op that I've used for the boys for homeschooling has, like, they decided to double their prices. What used to cost me about $350 every 2 months for both boys to do this homeschool co-op one time a week, it was about $350-ish. I'd have to dig out some things to know my exact numbers, but okay, what am I doing here? It's $200. It's now gonna be $240 every 3 weeks for both my boys to go. And if we're talking about regular co-ops, now co-ops can get expensive. They can certainly be much cheaper. I just did not expect my co-op to change this dramatically, and I thought I had everything figured out for the school year for the boys. So to then have that sort of change around, okay, we're gonna leave that alone. To then have that change, really, I think we're fine on back to school money too. To have that co-op change so dramatically just felt like it pulled the rug out from under me right before the semester is going to start. I am friends with the teacher and I absolutely don't blame them for the increase at all. I actually think my teacher friend is just the teacher. Like, she's not driving the prices, but it was originally pitched as just a fun little co-op where they're not trying to make money. It's just, you know, the teachers and the organizers, they all have kids. They're just trying to keep it going, right? Well, they increased the prices so much so that it is now, they're making a couple $1,000s per week, which again is like, that's their right to do. But I thought because I knew everybody that I would have some kind of heads up that it was going to increase that much, right? So anyway, I am saying all that to say, what am I trying to say? Oh, so that happened right after I kind of have some issues with the manufacturer. So then I spent the next basically 24 hours after that kind of freaking out about our homeschool schedule, because I'm a scheduled person. Okay, I like to have schedules. I very much thrive off of not feeling like my schedule is chaos, because I do have so many things going on. So I want to have it really figured out, you know. Yearly memberships, we're going to add 10. We have $30 now to yearly memberships. Like I said, this is much more a rant video than a cash stuffing. I'm just filling you in on where I have been. But because that happened, everything is okay now, but I kind of had to mourn the loss of the co-op, because I was planning on both of my boys doing just like sending cupcakes for their birthdays, for example, because their birthdays are coming up in a few weeks, like 3 weeks and 5 weeks or something. So no, wait, like 4 weeks and 6 weeks. Either way, birthdays were coming up. I had this whole plan. I really love that co-op, but I just don't think it's worth it to me to be paying almost $100 for every single visit, like for every single co-op day. So I kind of mourned the loss of that. And then I started to feel better because I did buy this little calendar planner off of Amazon. Now this is just a cheap like $5 or $6 planner off of Amazon. Let's look at August, for example. I have washi tape, and then I've worked out the months, and I've just planned like 9 weeks, the first 9 weeks. Like I've just put the stickers down. So there's a monthly spread, and then for the weekly spread for this particular calendar, it has a week here, and then it has just like a grid over here. I'm going to be planning what I intend to do for the week on one side, and then on the other side, after we've actually done it, I'm going to go back just to have a record of what we actually got done. And so I did do, to make myself feel better, I spent some time yesterday playing with this planner and starting to get things a little bit set up. So I basically have stickers and everything down for the first 9 weeks of school, right? And my plan is to sort of play with this planner and track our different subjects. So like science, I've already started to write everything down, because we're going to be starting homeschool next week. Anyway, saying that to say, playing with my planners and playing with organizing and planning in general usually kind of calms me down if I'm feeling really anxious or thrown off schedule wise. I don't get anxious about a lot, but I do get anxious whenever plans start to change or whenever I can't plan appropriately. Is anybody with me? Like if you are such a planner that when plans go off the rails, it just kind of sets you off the rails. Well, I kind of had, you know, that happen to me. So I'm feeling really good about our homeschool schedule. So do not worry. I am, feeling like I've got it figured out. I'll talk about it in just a second. Let me see. 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. How many weeks are we in? We're gonna skip penny challenge until I figure out exactly what week we're in. Y'all, like I said, like cash stuffing is sort of an afterthought on this video. Just trying to fill you in. I think we're gonna put a lot of our money into birthdays, especially now that I don't know what in the world I'm gonna do. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Let's put $100 towards birthdays. My original thought, guys, was to send cupcakes to this co-op, to have them just sort of covered there, and then to buy them a big present, because they wanted a big present more than they want a birthday party or than they want to go on vacation this year. But I am not somebody who like is comfortable completely skipping a birthday party. Like, give me an opportunity for a party and I want to take it, you know? So I will have to figure out what we're doing here. Let me see. They have money in here. Okay, I don't know. Let's go on just to kind of fill you in. I do feel good about where we're at with our homeschooling now. I don't want you to worry. Like, everything is fine. Again, very minimal problems to have too, but I think we've found sort of a replacement playdate group that's going to be happening on that day that they would normally have co-op, and some of our other friends are going to be doing it, so it's going to be fine, right? But the distraction of me feeling stressed out with co-op situation definitely took up some of my week. Okay, added $20 extra car payment, 300, 20, 30, 35, 335 to extra car payment. So anyway, a couple of nights ago is where we are in the story. So a couple of nights ago, my boys had gymnastics. It's been a little bit of an ongoing thing. They have a new teacher that is a guy, and he's just a little bit more rough and, I don't know, rude, mean. He's just a little more hard than the girl teacher that they had, but I thought it was just an adjustment period. Well, a couple of nights ago, he made my kid cry for the second time. Well, all of the boys in the class basically came back and reported to me that my youngest son was crying the entire time. And in addition to, like, to keep the story short, in addition to a couple of really rude things that the teacher said to my son, he also told him one time, he said, if you keep crying, you're gonna have to do 5 push-ups, which made my kid cry even more. Honestly, I didn't even think to ask, because I've just been mulling on my own feelings, but I didn't ask my son if he ended up having to do the push-ups or if it was like an empty threat. But either way, he made my kid cry by being too rough with him, and then he said, if you keep crying, you're gonna have to do push-ups. So then he was like punishing him for having emotion. And y'all, when I tell you that I was mad, I was big mad, okay? And I'm still mad about it. I'm finally like coming around, but it's just been such an emotional week on several different fronts. And for that to be the last big thing, and I'm kind of laying low at this point. Like I said, I'm like, this is just a week of chaos that I would like to opt out of. I think where we're landing right at this particular moment, and of course I talked to the manager, or I think the owner actually, because she was on the way out. I think she is an owner, and she directed me to one of, like, basically his manager, because I said, do I talk to him or do you want me to talk to somebody else? Who do I talk to? But this is not okay. And it was more than like the push-up thing, but that was like the biggest thing to me. Like, you can't be punishing somebody over emotion. But there was also a couple of points where my son had vocalized that he didn't want to do it. He did not feel comfortable doing it. And my son has hypotonia. It's a muscle issue. So I teach him to be vocal about his limits, right? And the teacher just ignored him and said that he had to do it and made him stay at certain skills until he did it, which I don't think he ever did. First off, because he can't. He's got a muscle disorder. Second off, you know, he was emotional because you'd upset him by kind of being mean to him anyway. Talk to appropriate people after this happened. Still nobody has called me to like talk about anything. So where it sits right now, I think I'm gonna pull my youngest son, and my oldest son is gonna continue. I don't even feel comfortable with my oldest son being there, but I also don't want to teach them to just quit and run away when things are difficult. But I definitely don't feel comfortable even putting my youngest in it, and my youngest gets upset and emotional even thinking about going back. So that is the whirlwind version of our week. Again, I'm not even gonna count this 100 savings challenge. I'm so sorry guys. This was much less a cash stuffing, and it was more just a general rant about where I've been. And as far as seeing you guys goes, it is a little sad that my week took such a weird rumble and a turn, because this is actually the week of me being on YouTube for 2 years. So if you've been around for a while, or even if you're a new subscriber and you just stuck through this whole rant, thank you for being here. I am not typically like this. This is typically a spot I don't want to share stress or drama, because like I want to be somewhere where you come to be happy, right? But it has been such just a weird week that I kind of want to fill you guys in that I had so many more intentions for the week, and maybe we will start some like fun celebration for the week starting on Sunday. So Sunday is my actual 2-year part. But you know, sometimes life stuff just happens, and usually I can take one thing kind of going off course, or even a couple things. But because most of these things, really, the things that really got me emotional has been stuff to do with my kids. Y'all don't mess with my kids, you know? Like, it's gonna get me emotional, and it's gonna get me way thrown off. So we did put about $50-something towards bills. Next week will be better. My goodness, I sure hope it. I do have to say too, though, that I have been the queen of overscheduling us, and ironically, right before all of these things started happening with gymnastics and with the co-op, I sat my boys down and I was like, look, y'all, we have to take some things off of our plate so that we leave some space for spontaneity and, like, you know, just some at-home time, because I do have them in a lot of things. And I do see, as far as like next week, our schedule is going to be way open, you know, because like co-ops and different things were meant to happen. Now some things are sort of getting taken off of our plate just naturally. So I am excited to see what happens. I am at a good spot. I know this was kind of a ranty, stress-filled video, but it's been a stressful week because I like plans. I like plans. I like to know that I have things figured out, and to find out that, like, not only with the work shipment, like, I don't have that figured out now, and with the boys co-op, I don't have it figured out. I thought I had both my boys in a good sports equivalent with gymnastics, and now I don't. So it's just been a little bit of like a thrown week, but I did play with this planner a lot, y'all, and I'm trying to hide some stuff that's going to give away details of where they are, but it does feel really nice, or it felt really nice to kind of just play with this. Have a, you know, homeschool planner set up, and I'll link this below if you're interested. It's just such a simple little planner that's going to be easy to put with our homeschool stuff. So it felt good to, you know, take some time off. I'm using air quotes because I love doing YouTube too. I love being around, but I know I didn't film this particular thing. But just to play with like washi and stickers, I know it sounds silly, but just to do that on my own time yesterday was such a de-stressor. So I'm feeling good, you know, like, at this point. It's just been a little busy. So I'm gonna put this video up tonight. I also have the cash ready to stuff in our 100-day savings challenge, so I'll probably put that short up later tonight, and I do intend on being around a lot more over the weekend and get back onto a regular schedule. I feel like I've been saying that kind of all summer. All summer has been a little bit thrown, and then this week was just like the icing on the cake to make me feel super thrown. But this is my kids' last week of summer camp, and then, like I said, next week and then moving forward, a lot of like life schedule is getting back to our normal routine, so that feels good. Highly unedited, and you know, possibly one of the most chaotic, stress-filled videos I've had. So I appreciate it if you stuck with me. I'm sorry if this brought stress into your life. Let me know if you never want to see anything like this again. I am typically pretty well composed. It's just been a weird week. It's been a weird week, and I wanted to update you where I have been. But things should start getting back to normal around here. I'm pretty confident about that. And as always, I love you guys. I appreciate you, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.